Namaste students. Review of C++ programming, and next concept is tertiary operator. So there are three types of operators. So last class we studied about unary operators. Unary operator means it acts upon only one operand. An operator is a symbol which acts upon only one operand. It is called as unary operator. Binary operators means it uses two operands. For example, arithmetic operators we can take, or logical, relational, or bitwise operators. And third one is tertiary operator. So what do you mean by tertiary operator? See, tertiary operator acts upon three operands, and here by using tertiary operator we can solve, or we can use some expression like this. Expression itself, it is equal to some condition, and immediate after condition we need one symbol, that is question mark, and after question mark statement 1, and then column, then statement 2. And here what happens is, here expression that will be assigned by just verifying the condition. If condition is true, if given condition is true, then what happens is statement 1 will be assigned to expression. If given condition is false, if it is false, then statement 2 that will be assigned to expression. See, for example, we have a program to find the largest of three numbers or largest of two numbers. See, we can use expression like this: largest equal to a is greater than b, where a and b are two numbers given by the user. Then question mark, if it is true, meaning is a is largest, so a will be assigned to largest. If it is false, automatically b will be assigned to largest. See, these are by using tertiary operator. And another name of tertiary operator is conditional operator. Another name of tertiary operator is conditional operator. Tertiary operator means which acts upon three operands. Okay, these are about tertiary operators. Next one is precedence of operators. So we know that sometimes we need to execute some expression. So what do you mean by an expression? An expression is a combination of operators, operands, some constants, some values, etc. And here, the precedence of operators means, for example, we have an expression, and in that expression we have some many operators. In that operator, which one we have to execute first and which one is next? See, you can take this example: a equal to 6 plus 3 star 5. A equal to 6 plus 3 star 5. So what happens is, here two operators are there, plus and star. See, according to precedence of operators, or priority, or we can say hierarchy of operators, we need to execute 3 star 5 first. So that means priority level given to star operator, that means multiplication is high. And here priority operator or priority given to plus is low, compared to star, plus is low. So highest priority given to parenthesis according to your syllabus in C++ or computer science syllabus. Highest priority given to parenthesis, next priority given to star, next plus, division, minus, etc. So like this we can use arithmetic operators, and some other operators like relational operator, logical operators are there, and these are assigned by some priority or precedence of operators. So precedence of operators is very important whenever you are going to solve an algorithm, right? Okay, these are about precedence of operators or priority, or you can say hierarchy. Next, type conversion. So last time you studied about this one, type conversion. So type conversion means converting one data type to another. For example, there are four data types: int, float, character, and double. Say integer requires 2 bytes, floating point 4, character 1, and double requires 8 bytes of space. See, under implicit type conversion, that means compiler itself convert from one data type to another. For example, you can take some problem: short int a equal to 12. Short int a equal to 12. So short int means it uses modifiers. So what happens is, it is a short int, it requires 1 byte of space to store. So compared to int, short int is, I mean space, what we can say, it uses, it is less compared to integer. So it requires 1 byte, and then int b equal to 50 or int b, and here b equal to a, and this type of assignment operation is allowed in C++. So no need of any operator to convert integer, short integer to integer, or any other higher version data type to lower version data type. So this type of conversion is called as implicit type conversion. So implicit type conversion, it does not require any operator to convert from one data type to another. So directly we can make use of this one, b equal to a, nothing will happen. So it will convert a to b, and then, or we can use b equal to b plus a. And this type of allocation or assignment is also allowed in C++, right? Okay, next one is explicit type conversion. So what do you mean by explicit type conversion? See, whenever you are going to convert one data type to another, normally we are using higher order to lower order. In this, type conversion, it requires some special operators to convert from one data type to another. See, whereas in implicit type conversion, no need of special operator. So what happens? Compiler itself converts from one data type to another. But in this case, in explicit type conversion, we need some special operator to convert from one data type to another. See, I'll give an example here. See, int a and float b. Float b equal to 11.345, and a equal to, we need special operator to convert int a equal to int b. And what happens is, here integer data type means it uses or it holds only full number, whole number without fractional part. And what about this one, floating point? It includes whole number plus some fractional part. So here what happens is, a that holds only 11, a holds 11, and fractional part will be ignored, right? Okay, this type of conversion is called explicit type conversion. And explicit type conversion, it is very important whenever you are converting from one data type to another. Okay, next concept under review of C++ programming is C++ program structure. C++ program structure. So under C++ program structure, and here first comment section or document section. So under this one, sometimes we need to write some comments about the program or a particular instruction or a particular statement. So it is called as comments or document section, or we can say it may be internal documentation or external documentation. See, internal documentation means writing comments about the program, about the statement or any other instruction, right? So it is internal documentation, and internal documentation which will not go for the execution, or we can say non-executable statement. Here internal documentation we can write like this, using 2 forward slashes. It is internal documentation or documentation, and it is called as single line comment. That means 2 forward slashes or pair of 2 forward slashes. Here forward slash, and in between this we can write our comments. This particular statement is used for reading numbers. This particular statement is used for to display or to perform some operation. So like this we can implement or we can write. Next one is multi-line comment. See, first one is single line comment. Single line comment means it uses only one line, and in that one line we can implement our instruction or we can write something about our instruction. And multi-line means it uses pairs of forward slash star and then star forward slash. So 2 comments. So single line comment and multi-line comment. And here also under multi-line comment we can write in some sentences more than one line. That's why it is called as multi-line comment. See here, multi-line comment that explains, so what are the variables we are using in our program and all those things that is explained here properly. So that is about comments or documentation section. So two types of documentation, internal documentation, second one is external documentation, and these two comes under internal documentation. Internal documentation means non-executable statement, and it is used to write something about a particular instruction or a program. And second one is external documentation that you have already studied in last year's syllabus, problem solving method. So external documentation means it is executable one. Sometimes suppose if you want to give some data or input values to the program whenever you are going to execute a program, and in that time we need external documentation. That means external documentation gives some instruction to the user whenever you are going to execute a program. For example, enter 5 numbers, enter 2 numbers, like this. So two types of documentation, internal documentation and external documentation. Okay, next one is linker section. See, under this one linker section, what happens is normally linker section begin with hash symbol. Hash symbol, hash include iostring.h. Hash include iostring.h. So purpose of this linker section is to establish link to the header files, or establish or to access the functions defined under header files. It is called as linker section. So normally linker section begin with hash symbol. Hash symbol. Hash include iostring.h. That means we can make use of all the functions defined under iostring.h. Hash include math.h. So we can make use of all the member functions defined under or built-in functions defined under math.h header file. Okay, these are about linker section. Next, definition section. See, normally definition section is to define some constants. See, in our program, suppose if you are using pi value, that means 22 divided by 7. That we can define before executing a program. That means in definition section we can define the value of pi. So we can define like this: hash define, then space pi and 3.142. That means here pi is treated as a constant. Pi is treated as a constant, and sometimes we can define the symbolic constant by using define section. Okay, these are about definition section. And next is about global declaration. So what do you mean by global declaration? See, what are the variables declared inside the main function or any other block or any other program segment? It is called local declaration or local declaration. That means variables declared inside a block or inside a particular function, member function, or declared inside main function. It is called as local declaration, and its value available throughout the function, and outside the function value of such variables are not allowed. See, in case if we have some value like this, main function and int a equal to 10, then we are using close our parenthesis, and here just go through this. Value of a equal to 10, value of a is equal to 10, and that value is available inside this function only, inside the main function, and outside the main function value of a is not accessible. Which is not accessible, that means it's not possible to access the value of that particular variable. So such variable or such variables defined inside a block or function is called as local variable, but it is called as global variable. That means variables declared before the function, before any block, is called as global variable. That means here itself we can define some variable a equal to 15, b equal to 100, like this. See, purpose of using global declaration means it is available throughout the program. So we can access value of such variables whenever That means in our program, whenever we need, we can access the value of A and B. Such declaration is called as global declaration. So what do you mean by global declaration? Global declaration means variables defined before the main function or before any block. It is called as global declaration, and variables defined under global declaration is called as global variables. And it is different from local declaration and local variables. Local declaration means variables defined inside a block is called as local variable, and its value is available throughout that particular function only. That means that particular subroutine only, and outside the subroutine or outside the function is not allowed, or which is not accessible. Okay, these are about global declaration. And next one is void main or main function. Void main or main function. See, main function can be defined by using all letters must be in lowercase, and it uses open and closed parenthesis. Open and closed parenthesis indicates that we are using a function. That means here in this case we are using main function. In any C++ program, not needed to be C++ program, in C program also, one and only one main function is there, not more than one function. One and only one main function is there, and immediate after main function declaration we have to use open flower parenthesis. See, this open flower parenthesis indicates the beginning of a function, and then closed flower parenthesis that indicates the end of the function. So open flower parenthesis and closed flower parenthesis. So between the pair of open and closed flower parenthesis we have to specify the local variable declaration. Local variable declaration, and then executable statement. Executable statement. See, local variable means variables declared inside a function or inside any other subroutine. It is called as local variable, and its declaration and its values or scope of local variable, it's available throughout this function only. Outside the function is not allowed, right? Next, some executable statements. In any main function we can make use of this one, some executable statements. And after this, closed flower parenthesis, and after this particular closed flower parenthesis we need to specify some subroutine functions or user defined functions. Subroutine functions or user defined functions. See, user defined function means we can define or we can design our own function to serve our purpose. For example, write a program to add two numbers. Here, to add two numbers is a function that must be defined and designed by the user itself. Okay, these are about C++ program structure. Next, under review of C++ programming is library functions. Some library functions. See, library function means it is defined and designed by the C++ compiler developer, and they design some functions under some header files. Header files means such files, it holds some built-in functions, and by specifying such header files in our program, we can make use of built-in functions. See, here first header file that we have to study is math.h header file. So under math.h header file, we can use some functions like sin x, cos x, a sin x, or next sin inverse x. Next, we can get the exponents of particular value x. Next, log x, we can get the logarithmic value, and we can find the square root of a number. And here square root of a number we can find like this: a equal to b equal to 25, a equal to sqrt of b. So what happens is a will be assigned by value 5. So square root of 25 is equal to 5. And then power of x comma y. So power of x comma y, here it gives the value of x when it rises to the value y. So x to the power y. X to the power y, that gives the value of power. And here what happens is power of 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 3 equal to 8. So it will display like this. So next one is absolute value of x. So here value of x, and it is written by the absolute function. That means absolute function, it gives the absolute value of x. Next, f absolute value. So here what happens is FABS, it gives the absolute value of your floating point number or real number. It gives the absolute value of floating point number or real number. Okay, these are about math.h header file. So under math.h header file, there are many built-in functions, and built-in functions are sin x, cos x, FABS, and then ABS, power of x comma y, etc. And next one is ctype.h, and ctype.h means character type header file. Character type header file. Actually, this header file, it gives some built-in functions, that is to perform some operations on characters. And here there are two types of functions defined under ctype.h. So first one is classification, second one is conversion. So what do you mean by classification? Classification means classification function uses is as prefix. Is alphabet, is digit, like this, is alpha. To represent is alphabet, we need is alpha function, and such functions are called as classification function. That means that is to check whether the given character is an alphabet or a digit or any other special characters, etc. To perform such operation, we need classification functions, that means defined under ctype.h. Next one is conversion function. See, under this one, conversion function, which is to convert one form to another, and here conversion function, it uses to as prefix. So conversion function. Okay, these are about ctype.h header file. So there are some functions here: is alpha, is digit, is num, is lower, is upper, to lower, etc. Many functions. Here, is alpha is a function. It returns or it results either true or false, either 1 or 0, like this. See, is alpha. See, for example, we have a program segments character ch equal to a, and int x equal to is alpha of ch. So here what happens is x equal to is alpha ch. Here value of ch is equal to a, is an alphabet. So x equal to, it returns x equal to 1. These are about is alpha. And second one is digit. If given character or given variable, if it is belongs to integer variable, then it returns 1, integer or floating point or any numeric data type. If it is belongs to any numeric data type, then it results 1. Next is num. That means it is to check, this particular function used to check whether the given character is an alphabet or a number, then it returns 1, and in other case it returns 0. And next is lower. Is lower is a function that is to check whether the given alphabet, if it is lowercase or small letter in English, then it returns 1, and in any other case it returns 0. And next, to lower. And to lower is a function that is to convert uppercase letters to lowercase letter. That means, for example, we have a string like this. String 1 equal to COMPUTER capital letters, to lower of STR1. So what happens is it will convert all the capital letters into lowercase. So what happens in case if given character or given alphabet is in lowercase? So it returns the same. There is no change. Okay, these are about to upper. Next one is to lower. To lower is a function to convert uppercase to lowercase. Okay, these are about functions defined under C-type .h header file. Next, string.h header file. See, string.h header file is a file. It defines some functions to perform some operations on strings. Here, strcat function, that is to join two strings, or we can say string concatenation, or join two strings. Joining means appending one string to the end of another string. It is called as string concatenation. And next one is strcpy. strcpy is a function. It is to copy the contents of one string to another. See, strcpy is a function. str1, str2, and str1 equal to Ram, and str2 equal to Lakshman. So strcpy, str1, str2 means, so what happens is, value of str2 that will be assigned to str1. That means after execution of that particular statement, string 1 equal to Lakshman, string 2 also equal to Lakshman, like this. So these are about strcpy function, that is to copy the contents of one string to another, or string variable to another. Next, strcmp. strcmp means string comparison, that is to compare one string with another, and strcmp is case sensitive, that means that treats uppercase, lowercase letters differently. strcmp function that treats uppercase and lowercase letters differently. See, here what happens is strcmp and then apple. Your first letter is capital letter, second letter is lowercase letter, and here strcmp, it gives the ASCII difference between two strings. ASCII difference means ASCII value difference. There are some coding standards. Under such coding standards, ASCII also one of the coding standards. And here strcmp function, that is to compare two strings. Here strcmp capital A and lowercase a. Normally ASCII value of capital A is 65, ASCII value of lowercase is 97. So what happens is it gives minus 32, ASCII difference between these two numbers, 65 and 97. 65 minus 97 equal to 32. So it gives ASCII difference between two strings. And next one is strcmpi. strcmpi is not case sensitive, so which treats uppercase and lowercase letters are same. Next, strrev function, that is to reverse the given string. If given string is MAL, strrev, it gives LAM, like this. It gives the reverse one. Next, strupr function, that is to convert lowercase letters to uppercase letter, and in case given character is of uppercase, then it returns the same. There is no change. And then strlwr to convert uppercase to lowercase. Okay, these are about functions defined under string.h header file. Next, conio.h. conio means console input output header file. There are some functions console input output header files. So get char, that is to read a single character, and put character, that is to display single character. Get s to read a string or group of characters, and put s to display group of characters. Okay, these are about conio.h header file. Next header file is stdlib.h, that is to define the standard library functions. In that case, first one is randomize function. See, randomize function, that is to generate numbers, that is generate a random number from the given list of elements or given list of elements. So randomize is one of the functions, that is to generate a random number from a list or some list of elements. Next, random number. That is to generate a random number. To generate a random number, next header file or next function defined under lib is a to I. So what do you mean by a to I? A to I is to convert character to integer. Next I to A. I to A is one of the built-in functions that is to convert integer to character. Okay, these are about review of C++ programming, and I will explain some questions regarding to this one. And up to here in your syllabus, up to here we have to study for the second year computer science final examination, and from next session we will move on to the some questions regarding to the review of C++ programming.